This ferry service was started 34 years ago, and most years we see about 1 million people utilise this service.
This ferry, connecting Victoria's Mornington and Bellarine peninsulas, is considered an essential service and continues to run despite the state's strict lockdown.
For the last 6 months, we've been more than 90% down on our usual travel volumes. We had to live within very modest means and have staff who are going home with just a small fraction of their normal salaries and having to make ends meet.
Chief Executive Matt McDonald is confident his business will survive the pandemic, but others may not be so lucky.
We already know of businesses that haven't survived, particularly now the next weeks and months ahead is certainly going to put significant strain on those businesses, and I'm sure that I certainly know of people who aren't going to get through.
The longer the shutdown goes on, the greater the probability that businesses, whatever sector they're in, won't be able to survive the shutdown when it eventually comes to an end.
The Victorian Government has announced a new $3 billion support package for businesses struggling under COVID-19 restrictions. Payroll tax has been deferred for this financial year, while businesses forced to close during the lockdown will get financial support. Matt McDonald welcomes the tax relief, but he's worried about what will happen when the federal government starts to wind back its wage subsidies at the end of the month.
The reduction in JobKeeper is really a blow to our staff. Our staff who are only getting a few hours a week under our restricted operations. It's going to reduce the money that's available to them in order for them to meet the basic needs of living. So it's going to add to the challenge.
Despite the extra support from the state government, business surveys show the lockdown has already resulted in job losses and business closures.
Growth will be lower, the unemployment rate will be higher, and it will take longer before we return to the sort of levels of economic activity that we had in the second half of 2019.
Yeah, since the announcements in March, it's been really difficult, and the one thing I've got is training, and that's the one thing that's keeping me healthy but also mentally sane. I wake up every day and I look at my wife and it's like Groundhog Day, and it's like, are we ever going to get out of this?
Just come in today to pick up some mail and to do a quick whip around.
Cameron Falloon says his gym business was booming before COVID-19.
We were looking to open some 50 studios in October and November of this year around the country, and certainly the recent government announcements have had a significant impact on our trajectory, on our ability to open.
Cameron and other fitness businesses are campaigning for the state government to reconsider the roadmap for their industry, saying data shows limited transmissions inside gyms.
I understand that the government's got to make hard decisions, but we also need to make decisions that are based on fact and data. It's been disappointing. There's been a real lack of engagement with the industry in Victoria. There's some significant damage that's been done to an industry that is designed to help the physical and mental well-being of Victorians.
No problem. You have a good day.
It's devastating. So what we're hearing, particularly across the board, small business is suffering immediately. What we're hearing is that 50% of those retailers are likely to close permanently. So we're heading into the all-important trading period between October and December. The majority of retailers, particularly in the discretionary end, can be up to 60% of their profits. So failing this quarter being able to trade fully outside of lockdowns, there is a higher risk of national businesses going under.
Our biggest event is Good Food and Wine Show, which we run in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and Perth. That has 30,000 people each show attending. And of course, right this minute, it got postponed this year or cancelled this year for all of the shows.
Instead of organising events, like most people in Victoria, Matt Pearce is locked down at home, frustrated that there's no way to put his staff to work.
We're really now questioning whether we can actually survive this, because there's going to be nothing from what we can see until at least November. Events take months and months and months to build. We started by saying we could postpone it by a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then 2 months and 3 months. Now we're looking at 12 months and 15 months.
He believes that once state borders are reopened, there will be a business exodus out of Victoria.
If the business restraints on us continue like this in Victoria, I don't think any of us have got a choice but to start looking elsewhere, because, you know, you've got to have people in an office from time to time, and you've got to have some freedom and ability to be able to talk to your staff. The worst case is moving interstate, because that way you can actually start having a life and driving that business and growth again.
We're getting on top of this virus and we'll be able to get business reopened, trading, which for all business is far better than receiving grants and handouts.
Matt McDonald hopes the Victorian government's optimism is justified.
We certainly look forward to the days when we see people back here and having a great time, and whether that's with their family or friends or going to see someone, you know, on the other side of the bay.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.